guys, welcome back to another episode of Author Interviews with Jazz and Prose. I'm your host, Sai, and today we have here the lovely Sharon Jones here to talk about her book, Contemplative Prayers. So welcome, Miss Sharon Jones. How are you doing?
I am doing very well, thank you.
Good. So we're here to talk about your book. What genre is this?
I always write nonfiction or poetry, something that is going to evoke the healer in a person.
Okay, and I love that because today's day and age, we're more open to discussing about healing. So I think that's amazing. And I love the cover. Tell us a little bit about the cover, the inspiration, the lady that's on there.
Yes, my first book, Alabaster Moments, celebrating moments of healing and transformation. I had the lady sitting in the fire, kind of, the book cover looked like she was just kind of in the fire. And so I wanted to show a progression and a transformation as I move forward with writing books. And so now she's coming out of the fire.
I love that. That's a very powerful cover. I love that. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to jump right into the question. So the first section is just about the introduction and background. So can you just introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about your background as a writer.
My background as a writer started in 2022. I'm a new author. I've always wanted to write. I've always held that dream. And so this lady by the name of Leslie George, she helped me to accomplish that dream. And so I'm also a licensed psychotherapist, and I wanted to bring to life, some of the pain points that I had heard of people. And so not just to stay in the pain points, but to lead them into transformation so that they could live a thriving life.
Absolutely. And we need that leadership in the world. So I'm definitely going to check this book out. So what inspired you? So you say you always wanted to, but what led up to that?
What inspired me is to give voice to the people who may be voiceless, who has gone through so many, experiences, and through their experiences or lived experience, they could help someone else maybe not go down that road. And so I want to capture the voice of pain, capture the voice of praise, capture the voice of transformation so that people can have a reference.
Yeah. I love that. So in this, I think you mentioned when you talked about the genre. So you said you only do nonfiction, and what's the other one?
I write poetry. I have 2 poetry books. My first book was a nonfiction. And when I lost my father about 1.5 years ago, I decided to do a prayer book. I was trying to think, I went in deep, what can I do? Grief weighs you down, you miss the person, you're kind of scrambled in life. And so I heard the voice, write a prayer book and send it out to the masses. And so that's what I did.
I love that. I love writing as a way to get things out. It's very cathartic. So I love that. Mm-hmm. Nice. And sorry to hear that about your dad too. I know that's great. Yeah. Okay, so let's go into book specific questions. So tell us a little bit about contemplative prayers.
One thing that I see as a therapist and just as a regular human being is that people are kind of on the surface level and they're superficial. So contemplative prayers is like sitting with it and being like an audience of one with God, a creator, a universe, of whoever that person is holding in high regard. And it's not just being fake or wearing a mask. It's really going deep and make it a determination to do the work to help yourself heal. We all can do it on the surface and say, oh, child, I'm better. But I want them to contemplate and just to set a game plan for healing instead of just kind of being fragmented.
Yeah. And I like that. I know in a lot of communities, in the African American community as well, a lot of times, like back in the day, I know in my, experience, we didn't talk about a lot of stuff and we just kind of swept it under the rug. Yes. So having a book like this to kind of help you, like you said, actually have a plan to get through it's great. And then I'm not sure, did we already touch on the inspiration behind this specific book?
Well, the inspiration was my father,
Okay.
because I see so many people in grief, and even prior to COVID, which brought on even more grief in many different diverse ways, I just think that people hold on to the grief and it becomes a chronic disease. You know, maybe it's high cholesterol, maybe it's high blood pressure, and other ailments. And so I guess what I'm proposing with this book is to go deep within and find out who you truly are and dig up those roots on what's holding you back and what's causing mental health problems or physical health problems or spiritual problems.
Yeah. And I think that, this book could be a whole webinar in our community, because I think a lot of people, when they talk about healing, they don't want to unpack all of that because they don't know what's on the other side of that. I think for a lot of people, it becomes a sense of normalcy to be with grief and to, just hold that. They don't know what it looks like. And especially, I feel like I'm a teacher. So like in the household, if that's what's modeled, sometimes that can be what kids grow up and think is normal. So they come into the classroom thinking that, this is one way. And then I always say, like, environment definitely matters. And when you get into a new environment, sometimes that's the first time you see that, wait a minute, there's another way to do this. So I think that's good. So did you find when you were writing it, was anything really challenging, or you felt like, I'm stuck with this, or was it kind of just a easy, natural process for you?
The way that I wrote the book was, I have a microphone and I have a computer that dictates. And so I just kind of closed my eyes and got in the presence of God. And I began to just speak from the heart these prayers. And so that's what I like to do. I like for it to come from spirit. I want it not to touch my own ego or whatever. I want it to come from the Spirit of God.
I love that. And I recently started the dictating thing because I keep relating this back to a teacher, but I spend so much time at school. So and I'm a reading and writing teacher. But I tell kids all the time, if you don't, because a lot of people don't like typing or writing, but I'm like, put on the voice typing tool and just like let it. And it does help. I put that in a Facebook group too. Like, do you guys write or do you use the voice typing? And a lot of people never even thought to do that. But I think it's very helpful, especially if you're like multitasking. But I love that you said that you want it to come from the spirit and ego, because I feel like ego is such a topic. It's kind of taboo for some people. Like it can be a downfall for a lot of people. So I love that you say you want it to come from the spirit to help the masses, Well, do you have a favorite scene, or I know it's not because it's nonfiction, but do you have a favorite chapter in the book?
I think all of them are pretty good, but I think surrender. I have different little headings for the prayers, like hope, inner peace, patience, power, presence, resilience, repair. And so I think when I wrote the book, it's all of the things that could usher me into deeper thinking, deeper healing. It is one of my beliefs that what comes from the heart reaches the heart. And so I always try to put a lot of heart in it and go deep.
Yeah. And that's good, because like you said, nowadays, a lot of things are on the surface. So some people, it's so refreshing to have something, because I feel like people know when something is coming from the heart and versus when it's very surface level. So you don't have characters and stuff. So, or do you have, because I know some, even when it's nonfiction, they'll put like little characters and stories.
No, I pretty much kind of put my emblem, which is the fiery hands. Like my little logo is the fiery hands. And I started it off with my mantra: the time you spend with yourself is the most important time in the world. Because oftentimes we're getting caught up in the drama. We're hustling, bustling, trying to shuffle everything. Yeah. I guess what I'm trying to do is call people back to their inner self, their soul, their spirit. Because if not, it's kind of superficial and you're just running around, and then you get to a place in life and you don't even know where you are or who you are. Yeah. And so just to go deep for a few minutes daily so that you can stay connected to who you are.
Yeah, that's very important. I am big into meditation and just, being one with self and knowing that if I'm not centered within myself, how can I show up for other people?
Mhm,
So I think that's really great.
mhm,
Okay, so the writing and publishing journey. So you kind of talked a little bit about you dictating,
mhm.
but do you have a process? So like when you came up with the chapters, did you do an outline first or?
Uh, what I do is I write words down, single words, and then from that word, I just speak from the heart, and I just share what I feel from my spirit, what is pertinent to capture that word, something that may be able to help people. So instead
Okay.
of a little phrase, I just put a word down, like power, and then I go from there, or spirit, or resilience, or repair, and I speak from that word.
I
Anything
love
that may bring healing to a person.
Yeah, I like that. So it's like affirmations,
Mhm,
and then you flesh that out. I like that.
mhm.
What about so when you're writing a book, because I know you said you wrote multiple, um,
Yes.
do you set like a time frame, a goal? Are you strict, or do you have to be um
Mhm,
in the spirit, to
mhm,
write it?
mhm. My process is I write early in the morning because I think that that's a rich spiritual ground. And then I write right before going to bed. And so things just be flowing and downloading and uploading at that time of the of the day. And so that's really where the messages for my book come from.
Okay. All right. Do you now for your books, do you have a preference of traditionally publishing or self-publishing?
Mhm.
And if
I
so,
believe in self-publishing.
okay, nice.
Because for me it's more or less getting a message to the world and fostering healing to the world. And I always set the affirmation, may the book get into the hands of the people who need it the most in the moment that they need it the most.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like a book like this could be something that people can always go back to. Sometimes with
Mhm,
books, we put
mhm,
it down, and that's it. But life
mhm,
is a roller coaster. We have ups and downs. So I feel like being able to
mhm.
have a book like this and refer back to it in those moments of need is amazing.
Yeah.
So did you have a lesson that you learned when you were putting the book out there?
Yes. I always go with the flow, and I try to be psychologically flexible, not to worry about the end result, but to
Mhm.
know that I've planted a seed into the world. And so I try to have non-attachment with
Mhm.
any book that I write, because I don't want to be worrying, getting in the frequency of worrying. I'm going to sell this book. Am I going to be a number one bestseller? I
Yeah,
guess if I had to sum it up, I trust God, that whatever his purpose is, it will be fulfilled.
absolutely. That's how I live my life too. Like if
Mhm,
God is the leader, so I feel like you plant the seed and He'll make the
mhm,
rest happen. So I
mhm.
love that. Okay, so advice for aspiring authors. So, do you have advice that you could give to a person who would want to start a book, writing a book, but they don't know how to start?
Yes. First of all, begin to all those witty ideas that you get, or those thoughts that come in your mind. Keep a little track record of those ideas, because those ideas will eventually evolve into a book. You can record it daily on your phone. You can write it down in a journal or somewhere. Uh, but keep a track record of it, because
Mhm.
those ideas and thoughts that come to your mind become the building blocks for your book. They could also become, like some people do, this mind map or whatever. It could be your mind map. It
Mhm.
could be the beginning of your outline. It's just like a seed. It's the beginning of planting for you to harvest one day. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I have to write stuff down. I mean, I have so many ideas of things that I want to do. I just
Mhm.
create a new Google Doc, go put it
Mhm.
there, and
Mhm.
yeah, and then I go back. So what is one piece of writing advice that you wish you had known earlier, if you have one?
Uh, I think just the thing for me is I've always kind of held this intention in me to write a book, and I wish I had known more about self-publishing earlier, and
Mhm.
and those skills that come with that. After getting assistance for my first book, I decided I was going to get the formatting down so that I could help myself to do the books moving forward. And
Yeah,
that way I could kind of share the book with the world a little bit more freely. Like if someone wanted a book, I could say, well, you know, if you really want the book, I'll send it to you, as opposed to when you pay like, you know, thousands of dollars for someone to help you. That kind of takes away from your ability to do more kind gestures like that.
absolutely. That's a great point. Great point. Yep. There's a quote, I'm not going to say it, but it's the one with the fish. If you teach a man to fit, if you give him a fish, he'll, but yeah. So when you learn how to do stuff yourself, you're able to have more generous abilities. Yeah. Do you ever get writer's block?
What I get is so many downloads coming at one till I have to kind of decipher what do I need to do. As a therapist, you know, I'll be meeting with someone and then I start getting these downloads. You need to do more on grief, or you need to do more on prayer, or people really need skills, and you need to, Sharon, you need to get your journal out, you know, because people could have like a meditation room or transformation room in that journal. And then I'll get the idea. You don't want to just do old regular stuff where people just writing on lines. And so what I'll do is I'll go within, recalibrate, speak to God in spirit, and say, what is the next? And get God to help me rank what I need to work on. Because when it's all coming at you at once, of course, it's going to be fragmented and you're not going to give it your all. And I really do practice coming from the spirit. And so sometimes you just have to, like you say, meditate, calm yourself down, focus, and then you'll get your answer. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I thank you for the work that you do, because we need, healers like yourself to come in and just lead, because a lot of people don't have the skills to know how to navigate all of these different emotions and things that come with life. Okay. I feel like we're going to go into our trivia. Are you ready for trivia?
Yes, I'm going to try my best. Yes.
Okay. It's trivia time, guys. It is a would you rather author edition. Okay. And I did alter the questions because I knew you were nonfiction, so it doesn't have like character stuff. So what we're going to do is have you pick a number 1 through 4.
Okay. Number 3.
Okay. Number 3. So we're going to go question number 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, this is a good one. Okay. So would you rather only write at 3 a.m. or only with a typewriter?
I would rather write at 3 a.m.
Okay, right at 3 a.m. Do you have a reason why you would not want to write with a typewriter only? I think I know.
Well, it's too noisy and the clucking and all of that kind of stuff. And so I like quiet and serenity when I write.
That makes sense. And the typewriter doesn't have the voice dictating.
That's true too.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I think. But I used to have a typewriter as a child. My dad got me one and I love that thing. But yeah, I think for today's time, like I would, but I do love a good typewriter. Yeah. Okay. So this is our closing slide. So what is next for you, Miss Sharon? Are you working on another book or?
What I'm working on, about 2 years ago, when I began writing, I took the African ancestry DNA test, and I found out that I was from Equatorial Guinea, Bioko Island. And so their primary language is Spanish. And so I have 2 books, the prayer book, Uploading the Fire, Downloading the Grace, that has been translated into Spanish. So I'm working on getting that up and out. And I also wrote a poetry book, Belay, the poetic stream across the water, dedicated to my ancestor, my grandma Scylla, who was enslaved, and she probably came from that area of Bioko Island. And so I wrote poems that kind of reflected how she may have felt, coming across on a ship, and all of that kind of stuff. So I'm getting that book translated into Spanish as well. So I have 2 of the books that I've already written, and they will be available in Spanish.
I love that. I actually did my ancestry as well. And I'm from New Orleans, so we're already like a melting pot of a lot of stuff.
Yes.
But definitely honoring your ancestors is something in New Orleans that we're big on too. So I'm sure that your grandmother really appreciated you doing that. So Miss Sharon, where can we find your books?
It's there on Amazon.
Okay.
Like I say, I'm pretty simplistic, but the books are on Amazon. Yes.
Okay. And then do you have like any socials? Like if readers wanted to like get like, you know, we have social media, they put comments or stuff, like, do you have that? Or
They can't put comments, but I do have a website.
Okay.
alabastermoments.com. That's my website.
Nice.
And then I have on Facebook, I have Alabaster Moments, and then in Alabaster Spirit, they can reach me there as well.
Okay, great. And we will definitely have that in the description box, guys, for you to go and connect with the wonderful Miss Sharon. So do you have any final words of encouragement for your fellow writers or the people needing healing?
Yes, I do. And the first thing I would say, that it's okay to begin a healing journey. Do not stay stuck in whatever you're in, whether it's narcissistic abuse or if you're feeling in low mood, reach out. It's okay. Don't get anchored down by the stigma of what people think about you. Your healing is personal, and you're on the other side of healing is really being able to thrive. And then another quote by my friend Jamie, she said, whether it's the beginning of the work or the ending of the work, it's all about love and loving yourself and loving other people.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I am big on healing as a person who has experienced stuff in life. I will tell you on the other side, like you said, is thriving. Okay. So well, we thank you so much, Ms. Sharon Jones. You guys definitely go check out Contemplative Prayers and her other books as well. You can connect with her on all her socials, which will be in the description. Well, we thank you so much. And
thank you. And I'm a Louisiana girl as well. I was born in Louisiana. I'm from Louisiana, Shreveport, but I'm from yes.
Absolutely. I love that. Yes. Yeah. But where are you now?
I'm in California now. Central Valley, California. Yes. I've been out here many years, but I still claim Louisiana. If you ask me where I'm from, I'm going to tell you Louisiana. I never say California.
Yeah. And it's for me because I've been out here since I was like 16. But I'm like, well, because I've been out here longer now, but I still say New Orleans. So
yes. Yeah.
Well, it was definitely nice meeting you. You're welcome to come back anytime you have a new project. And so guys, go once again, check out Contemplative Prayers, and we will see you on the next author interview. Thank you.
Thank you so much.